Hey everyone, welcome to the Billions Season 4 After Show, where tonight we are talking sugar vape. We're talking the Chicken Man, that was my favorite part. We have some fun news, and we have our special segment, the Billenial Translator. Stay tuned, it's all happening now.
Tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Woo! We're gonna let the buzz begin tonight. It's an episode to let all that buzz out.
Oh,
right, guys?
I tell you. Ooh.
Well, Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Billions After Show. We are so excited to be reviewing episode 3 tonight. Can you believe it? The season is just flying by already.
It is.
I'm your host, Nadine, Della, Pelle, and I have an amazing panel with me tonight. Please, ReGina, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm ReGina Coles.
Keven Undergaro back again.
Yeah. Squad's back together.
Well, no, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, I missed you guys last week. Sorry, I missed out, everyone.
I'm still kind of a newbie, but I'm
you're good.
I'm filling my way.
You're Billions family.
Regina reminded me that in the news last week, Koppelman said that episode 3 and 4 were going to be the best. They were going to blow 1 and 2 away, and I feel like tonight was an indication.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
That's true.
Completely. I know. I mean, you know what? Taylor owns it. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is her time. I really like... More power to her.
Power to her. What is your guys' favorite part of the episode? Say one quick thing about favorite thing that stuck out to you. Is there a funny memory, or what was your?
It's Chickentown, Bill.
Chickentown, Bill. Yeah.
From Chinatown. Mm-hmm. Yeah, amazing.
And you, ReGina?
Taylor's dad visiting. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That stirred up a lot of stuff from her past.
That was so surprising. Mm-hmm. You don't even think of Taylor as having family. You know, she's so to herself all the time as far as her personal life goes. Yeah. So that is something we really have to delve into.
I think great job by the writers, because now it gives us a chance to reveal more about her, because she's not one who's going to, they're not one that's going to let it out with dialogue. So now we're going to get to know.
We're getting her backstory.
And
I love it.
And is there going to be weakness?
Yeah, we'll see.
That's their father, so, right?
I saw it already, so.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. She teared up.
We'll wait for predictions on that one.
Right.
No, but it's great, because I remember last season, I was just doing our, when we were building out the after show, I would just be Bobby and then Chuck and what's going on in their lives. Right. And now I'm doing Bobby, Chuck, Taylor. And Taylor's just becoming this more prominent figure on the show. Where we just need to kind of cover Taylor more so than any other character.
I'm really getting frightened for the boys, because they're getting deeper in revenge.
Yeah.
And they're getting, even the way, we'll talk about it later, but when they got together for that final Taylor versus Chuck, or that kind of head-to-head, and what Taylor said, and and Axe, and what Axe said, it really scared me for Axe, because, I don't know, no good writer is going to allow in today's day and age, 2 men who are totally seeking revenge to win. They're not going to against someone like Taylor. I don't think there's no way they're going to get away with it.
ReGina, you're thinking opposite?
You know what? I'm just loving Taylor more and more each episode. And this is just episode 3. But oh my God, they are empowering Taylor so much. I love it. And she is one step ahead of Axe. And I'm wondering, how long is she going to be able to keep this up? Because that girl is on it, with her security and making sure they found out that flaw and everything. I don't want to give everything away right now, but we'll get to that, I'm sure. Yeah. But Taylor is on top of things, and she is letting Axe know.
Emotions are not getting in their way, and the men on this show are being driven by emotion and revenge, and that's scary, because I don't see how they're going to win that way.
Yeah, there's going to be something that's going to...
Not to get long lead with predictions, but until they break from that, they're not going to win.
So you're saying the guys are kind of reversing roles, so to speak, as far as the emotional...
that's a great point. I'm sure that's...
Normally it's us women.
That's right. I think that's probably what Koppelman and his team are trying to show us, but to me, it doesn't seem so progressively unrealistic. These seem like a lot of alpha male bullies, and they're being led with their other thing. Well, and they're like, F you, zero sum gain. I'm gonna just roll over you. But even still, when you're not rolling over for money or profit, but just for revenge, that's what's like.
So you think it's going to destroy both of them?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I do. And
at the end.
And anyway, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. ReGina, I'm going to get you a Team Taylor shirt and have you wear that. Because you're loving Taylor so much.
You heard her, guys. It's coming. My Team Taylor shirt. Okay, Nadine.
Well, let's get into what I think was some of our favorite part of the episode, Dollar Bill's Chicken Man and the business that happened with that. Dollar Bill, he just cracks me up. I'm very happy that he got his own little special segment this episode because I've really missed his personality and who he is.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know he could sing.
Oh, yeah. The fact that he decides to do his pitch in singing
what song was he
to
singing?
Bobby.
The Chicken Man.
Go ahead, Nadine. Come on. You're Italian and you're from the New York area.
He was singing a Bruce Springsteen song.
Girl.
And I forget what the name of it was.
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. There you go. It was a Brucey song.
And it was playing at the opening and, it, you know, whatever. But when he was singing, I was thinking maybe he just came for a Bruce concert because he looks like the type of guy that probably goes to all the Bruce concerts. But come to find out, no, there was something deeper in it for him.
And I love that Axe let him go for as long as he did. And then he's like, okay, enough. No, what do you have a pitch or something? Come on, let's go chat about it. Axe is like, okay, enough of this BS, which I love too, because Axe is like, okay, I'll deal with every personality as long as I can until it annoys me.
You got to admit, he got his attention.
Oh, he got his attention.
In a classic way.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just horrible, some type of karma that came back to him, because this should have been a solid deal with the Chicken Man business, which we all saw was this guy. He is the one who puts out the Arkansas Chicken Index.
He referred to him as Otis of Mayberry, right? Like,
and by the way, you know this is based on some kind of reality. You know it's probably this ridiculous. Him on a phone from like the late 70s, the old push button red phone. By the way, the red bat phone, which I love. But
it's actually a chicken exchange index.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's probably done like in this antiquated way.
Oh, yeah.
I bet
but what are the chances that you would invest? You find out this tip, you figure out what it is, you invest all this, and then you find the guy dead in his living room.
But even still, how he went about getting the information.
Oh, yeah.
He was banging the chick who did the mobile meals.
Yeah,
the mobile meals.
Delivering the meals to him. So, but you know what? At the end of everything, I think he kind of got his feathers plucked.
Oh, yeah.
Got
his feathers plucked. Yeah. And I think his favorite meal to get delivered was chicken, too. And I was like, okay, that's just all, coming full circle there. Right. Just a little bit. But basically, he's a chicken patsy. So the reason that everybody allows him to kind of keep this job when he doesn't actually leave to go and visit all these chicken places, he just calls. Because
he does what he's told to do.
Because of supply and demand. Because if they're saying that they don't have enough chickens, then they'll be able to raise the price if they have a surplus, so they're going to be making more money. So that's why he's the chicken patsy.
Yeah.
So the fact that he has died now obviously puts Dollar Bill in such a predicament of like, really? Like, we put millions, hundreds of millions of dollars invested into this. But the whole thing about this entire story was the way in which Bobby operated with Dollar Bill. Bobby literally, he pushes him to his limits. He says, go fix it. Do everything under your power. I'm basically like, hey, I'm angry. This is your F up. Go figure it out. Go fix it.
And Dollar Bill always figures it out.
And he always figures it out and always fixes it. But you see the harshness, too. Like, it didn't matter that it was Dollar Bill. Bobby's like, no.
He was willing to do anything to save that deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so
it's a lot of money on the line.
Exactly. And so at the end of it, when he's finally has a solution to end all the chickens, to go and just get them sick, and Wags...
Wait, no, not a solution.
Well,
the final solution. I heard, by the way, ballsy for writers, because that is just highly sensitive
I know.
material.
And then at the
PETA's
end,
going to be all over this episode.
Yeah. And when he threw the bag over the fence.
Oh my God! With the live chicken in the back. I know, like, so again, ballsy move. Well, I was thinking PETA, but I was also even thinking of Jewish groups.
Oh, yeah.
They usually don't like playing around with that
Humane Society
final solution, but I love when Wags and Chuck, Axe look at each other and go, oh my God, it's a chicken holocaust.
It's a chicken holocaust.
And they all jump in the car and go down there to face it. And this is why I like the writing, is because these characters are so gray. They're not ultimately just so evil and wicked.
No.
You know, you would have thought 300 million, make it happen. And I love that they jump down there. But here was my question I want to ask you guys. When Axe and Wags go down there, is there any are there any feelings of, is there any moral obligation to the chickens and something in them going that this just isn't right? Or are they thinking this is going to lead to more legal trouble?
I think it is actually a moral thing because they did bring up that, people would be dead. I think they brought up Matt Damon eating a chicken.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
And Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
They'd eat it and they'd go and
I
die.
like
This was
that.
a more humanity thing.
And I like that.
I loved that.
Right, I love it. You're right.
And
I love it. And that's what
yeah.
gives these characters hope for redemption.
Completely. Is that Bobby does have a good sign. That's what I'm saying, is that he was pushing Dollar Bill to go figure out the solution. Dollar Bill had the solution that could have made them a lot of money. And he's like, oh, no, I'm actually flying to Arkansas right now to stop this because no amount of money is worth it.
And so he did the right thing as far as no amount of money is worth doing this. But then he was also forgiving of Dollar Bill. Sometimes you just got to take a loss.
Exactly.
And I like that.
And I think ultimately, remember that line, you guys, because I predict down the road that's going to apply to Axe and to Chuck. Is at some point they're going to have to, whatever that has happened to them, they're going to have to say to keep for the greater good. They're going to come to that. They just haven't come there yet.
Yeah.
But
That's interesting.
But I love that. Forget it, Bill. It's Chickentown. So take it from Chinatown with Jack Nicholson. I thought.
And I thought that was great on Axe's part to tell Dollar Bill that, because he showed more of a human side to it, humanitarian side. I mean, I know it's all about money and everything, but I guess he really thought about, what the outcome would be with such a devastating thing like this happening. So
yeah, it's worth it more to save humanity and chicken.
But you know what? $300 million is a lot of money. And remember, they're going to die anyway.
That was
so
the thing.
that's what I'm saying. The fact that they made this decision to say, don't do it, and both of them did.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that was interesting to me. Notice how Axe has people, who really have his back.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's showing this season. Last week with Wags, he's like, I always have your back.
Yeah.
Then now we know with Dollar Bill, same thing. And then we know with Wendy. Go to the world of Chuck. Who does Chuck have?
Just Wendy.
Yeah.
Right?
He has Wendy.
Well, because his dad is
and Wendy's even been,
dad,
shaky because she's had to go back and forth. And I know that was his fault. But isn't that interesting? He's never really had, he doesn't seem like he has as many ride or dies.
Well, because Chuck severs ties more easily than Axe does. I think we're more inclined to hate Axe and hate his personality and who he is, but then he always ends up stepping up and he always ends up doing the right thing.
Well,
but
you know what though? Chuck will do the right thing for justice, but that which brings us to that moment where Chuck and Axe meet.
At the end,
and I love how he calls him Bobby, so we can tell that they're very familiar.
Well, he needs him now. But for sure.
But he does. But the thing is, they're bonding. But what was very interesting was, again, this drive for revenge. Now Chuck has now broken off a piece of his soul, because Chuck was always, okay, in the end of end, it's justice, and I'm going to be the one to bring it. I'm the little guy who was always picked on in the playground, and this is going to be my revenge to the world. I'm going to get justice. And then for Axe, it's at the end, I'm going to get super rich and I'm going to make other people rich. So he's made a ton of friends and Chuck's made a ton of enemies. And they have this moment. But when they have this agreement of, okay, I'll basically, Axe will do him this solid. And then Chuck is like, okay, and I'm going to be your guy forever. And now justice is out the window.
To me, it's
right?
like
so
it's a whole transition.
And again, all for revenge. Yeah, all for revenge.
But what he has broken the relationships. Let's talk about with his dad, with his best friend Ira, with Wendy. That was
Lonnie.
Yeah.
Everybody, literally everyone who's come at Connerty, everyone who's come into Chuck's path.
He has done something because of revenge, though, because all of that stuff a lot of the time was because of his feud with Bobby and trying to get back at Bobby.
But it wasn't revenge. It was justice, Nadine.
It
was like, I am going to put away this.
I think it was a little of both, though, with Bobby.
Well, he got emotional, but again, the end goal. But even with when Bobby and Axe, at some point they became vengeful to one another. But if push came to shove, it always felt to me that in those days, Bobby would say, you can either make $1 billion or you can put Chuck in jail. He's going to go, no, I want the $1 billion. The other guy it wasn't so much, I don't think, revenge. It was more, this is the bad guy. This is the big billionaire that takes advantage of little people.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy being picked on at the playground my whole life by guys like that. And I'm for the justice of the world. I'm going to do it. So now it's like the fact that these two are so consumed with vengeance. I don't like. That's right. I don't like where it's going. And I think, remember, because I predicted these two would get together and be friends last season. My long prediction is that there's going to be some grand outside force that's going to attack all of them and make them. No. I think bring them together.
Really?
And even with Taylor at some point.
Okay.
Because we love these characters so much. I don't think you're going to be fulfilled at the end of the show. Like realistically, with just generic, the rules of writing, you're probably going to want to see. It seems like Taylor should win because they're not basing it on vengeance, but the other. But then again, we love the other two, and we love them for going down and stopping the chickens
for who they are.
Right, and
exactly.
we love Chuck for when he is about justice and the little guy. So I think ultimately, long ways down the road, it'll be a Grigor or a Jock or
I was just going to say it's a
some
Grigor
big major force where they have to go, where they're going to have to say, sometimes you just got to take a loss. Again, this is like a season or two away, but I'm just saying.
Those two guys, the thing about them always comes back to their egos. Okay, so what are they going to do
now?
Because of their egos? And I really think it's a thin line between love and hate. And I just think that those two guys, although they're like best buds right now, I don't think it'll take too much to
easily.
put a wedge between them again.
I think so.
Rocky waters are coming, you're saying?
Yeah, and one of the things, too, I think why Chuck despised Bobby so much is because of his hold on Wendy. He didn't like that at all.
But I feel like they're over that now. I feel like they've definitely gotten past that to move on.
Right.
But yeah, speaking of revenge, let's get into Bobby doing internal surveillance on Taylor's company. But we'll talk about that after our live read. Let's talk with you, audience, really quickly. Before we move on to our next topic, I just wanted to say, we all wanted to say thank you very much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. For us to continue to grow, and we could use your help a lot, please. If you're on YouTube right now, you can hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation, especially if there's something that we only got to a little bit tonight and you want to continue it later on this week. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows. But seriously, guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You guys are the best. I can't get the chat to load right now. I'm sorry. I wish I had it up. I'm going to try to get it for next week. So we'll look in the comments this week and see what you guys said instead.
What about was it just for a joke when Wag said, I need a girlfriend?
Oh,
is that just a little light moment?
I think that may have been my second favorite part of this entire.
Do you think we're going to see a Wag's love interest?
I think we have to.
And how great was it? Why? You want to go antiquing and have something with the hands? He's like, no, I do a reach around after brunch.
Yeah, reach around after brunch.
Funny.
That was funny, yeah.
And it's just like, I love seeing those intimate little moments of their friendship, because it's just like, I wish I could just be in a room with them when they're just hanging out, not talking about any of the other stuff, because they're just best buds.
Drinking I think that's scotch that they drink. And actually a little tidbit about the show was that when they do get together, they drink this really, really old scotch.
What, really? When they're on set?
Yeah. Well, no, like when they break, and
when the cameras are off, when they're hanging out.
They drink this scotch, and oh my gosh, this scotch is like...
They're very expensive.
ReGina, bring us in some. Bring us in some.
$4,000.
Come on, you got it. Bring it in for us.
I wonder what scotch it is.
Billions.
Yeah, we'll have to
I'm
find
looking up.
The Billion Scotch.
I think they said Koppelman is the one who supplies the good
I'm
stuff.
looking up right now.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll have to see.
Wouldn't that be nice?
We'll have to see what it is. All right, let's talk about Bobby and the surveillance of Taylor's company this entire episode. We've been talking about, for this review, just revenge and how revenge has just taken over a lot of them. But especially we see it with Bobby, not only Bobby, but with Wags, but with Wendy. And we especially see Wendy being
Wendy's surprising.
we see Wendy being a big push into kind of messing up or screwing over Taylor in a sense. And we have this whole meeting in the opening of the episode where Hall comes in and talks about how there's a little flaw in the security system over at Taylor's company, and actually gives a flash drive that has info about Mace Cap's positions and trading power, which is something you do not want your competition or your rival to have at all. So Hall, by the way, amazing. I love that he's just down to do whatever, gets the dirt and finds it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he gets the dirt and he always finds it. But it was Wendy who actually had the idea of how they could use this info. It wasn't even Bobby. Bobby thought this was too small of something. Right. There was nothing to play on. Right. And it's Wendy who, because of her psychological, she's a psychiatrist. Yes. So because of that background, she's able to understand, no, you can use this to mess with Taylor's brain, to try and get Taylor
here's
off
what's interesting.
Taylor's game.
It messed with Taylor's brain for 1 minute.
And that was the
she
thing.
said it got me for 1 minute. So is there a flaw in Wendy's game of revenge? Is Wendy not really good at this? Because think about it. She said, it got me for a minute.
Well, you know what? I was shocked that Wendy even came up with saying, use this water torture thing, you know, to get like drip, drip, drip. We'll go after Taylor and we'll pick off little pieces of the profit and everything like that. And I was just thinking, Wendy has taken on a different transformation this season.
She has been, completely.
We're yet to see Wendy is going through something emotionally, and I think there's going to be a big change in her.
Yeah, we're seeing it already with her sex life.
We're seeing her sex life. We're seeing it with her aggressiveness at work as well. But to answer your question, I think that I don't think that it's Wendy's bad at it. I think we've seen that Wendy is very good at helping. She's always helped Rhoades or Chuck, and she's helped Bobby. But I think that
almost in defense. This is
a
offense.
Little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
So maybe
I just think that it was all just happened too quickly. I think the idea was great. I just think maybe execution didn't go to plan.
Her quote, their need for mathematical perfection will be their undoing.
Right.
And ultimately it wasn't, and we still are debating on that when we come up with that subject of what went wrong over there.
I'm just so surprised that Wendy seems to be like just really in there with the guys as far as getting this revenge on Taylor. When I would think, being a therapist like she is, that she would maybe implement some other type of skills that wouldn't directly come at Taylor to hurt her, because she does know Taylor's weaknesses, so to speak, because, you know, she was employed at Axe Cap
But
for
Taylor
so many years.
messed with the family. Taylor, you know, did a number on it, and Wendy's taking the side. But Wendy is
her men.
Yeah.
But you're right. I do feel like it's a little inconsistent with Wendy's character, because I feel like Wendy would be the one saying, guys, you want to run for office and you want to make more billions, and this is not helping us. And I feel like she'd be the one, but I guess she's in so deep now.
Yeah, she's just in it.
You know?
Yeah, it's like she's like,
completely
scheming and coming up with everything.
And when Taylor has realized that her company's security has been tampered with, her guy Cook, he starts, protecting it and putting the walls back up.
And remember what Hall says about Cook. Remember this. He's like, he's quite formidable, or she's got a guy, or Taylor's got a guy. So you're going to be seeing more of Cook.
And Hall knows who he is. Hall knows his brain. Hall knows how the workaround is. So I want to know what that story is with the two of them too, which I wonder if we'll get into.
It's so funny, just millennials versus again the other generation. Because Cook is younger.
Speaking of Hall,
African American,
I thought it was so funny when he said to Wendy, if you get tired of working for him. Come with me.
Come with me. Yeah, Hall had the guts to say that in the beginning. Bobby's like, no way.
She's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
And he said that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so in the middle of Taylor and having all the security issues, Sarah comes over and tells Taylor that Grigor's number 2 called, and his quote was, "When are you going to start fucking earning?" Yeah. And that was just massive of like, oh yeah, we haven't done. We have been just playing this game, and we see this come at the end when Bobby and Taylor meet up together. But it has just been this cat and mouse game of them. One fights against the other, and the other one is revenging and all that stuff. And at this time, and Taylor's like, we're going to start right now.
Right.
And at the time, Taylor's father, we can start talking about that now. Taylor's father,
Great,
Douglas Mason.
Played by the great Kevin Pollak.
Yeah.
Kevin Pollak, yes.
Yeah.
And he's wonderful. By
That
the
was
way.
a
Amazing.
shock.
I mean,
is-
him from Mrs. Maisel to this, like effortlessly.
I can't. He plays the father in Mrs. Maisel because I love Mrs. Maisel so much.
Right.
And it's
he's
just,
so talented. So he's got so much range.
It's great. And when I saw him come on, I was like, I hope he's going to be a part of it for a while,
Did
that it's
you
not
have
just a cameo.
Any idea when that elevator opened and she's standing there and she greeted him like he's like any other business person that's coming up?
Business partner.
I knew, clean, simple, direct. Like he was being so complimentary, and then even some of his things, cool, neat. Like
Yeah.
he's trying to
that's like-
trying to fit in.
Yeah.
With Taylor, because you could see there was some rift, and that he was
yeah.
now trying to
Definitely.
kind
Yeah.
of make up for lost time. You could tell immediately.
Because he's saying at first, he's like, isn't it supposed to feel like big? And aren't you supposed to like make your client feel like, oh, you guys have a lot of money?
Yeah.
And Taylor's like, no, it's this. He goes, yeah, it's cool. It's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Clean, simple, direct, but isn't that Taylor?
Exactly, completely.
Right.
Completely. And you see the similarities between the two of them.
And is there anything wrong with that?
No, I don't think so.
Clean, simple, direct.
I don't think so at all.
Wouldn't you want that?
I think yes and no. I think I need to learn more about their history as a father-daughter relationship, because sometimes with a parent, you don't want it. You also want it's more emotion and more love in it, I guess, not just like mathematical
Clean,
and just
simple, direct.
And that's what we see.
Good for business, but not for personal.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
There's definitely some bad blood there because
I don't know if it's bad blood.
Well,
but
I think strained.
yeah, I
they're
think that's
strange
it.
for sure. But when she asked McPhee to show him around and everything, and then he started talking about her and how considerate she was, but in measuring things, but not considerate as far as people and that kind of thing, and how sweet she was. And she asked the dad when she was 6 years old about wanting to marry him, and then of course Taylor overheard that, and she
When he
was
said,
like,
and his response was, "I should have known."
yeah,
right there.
right. Oh,
Which, again, typical egghead math geek that he is. It's actually very common at that age. Little girls are, it's Freudian. They're like in love with the dad.
The dad.
And the fact that he is referring to her as a she and to this and to that, you can see they're not on the same page.
And she said, refer to me with pronouns, certain pronouns.
And I think that was great because this was one of the first episodes where we really saw Taylor's opinion on that too, and we saw where it struck at home when your parents don't go with what you're feeling. It's hard for them to understand with where you're coming from, and it's a hard transition. But also when it seemed as though he wasn't really trying too hard, you could see it was hard for him, and you could see the pain in Taylor's eyes with, I just want to be accepted for this way, and I wish you saw me this way, and I'm trying so hard.
She was tearing up.
But I think it started to get a little bit better later on. But I think you're right. It was just estranged.
Very strained, and estranged for years.
Yeah,
You were
relationship.
always my little
and,
girl. No, I wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that back and forth. But the two of them, because he was there at the time when Grieger's number 2 called, they decided to come up with an idea of how they're going to beat Axe, how they're going to get ahead of everything that he has done with shorting so that they can make money. And they do a whole beautiful mind, basically, of the whiteboard. See, I'm giving you some references there.
Right,
see?
good.
Hey. And they beautiful mind the board to try to come up with a solution, but this is the conversation that we want to have right now and people in the chat, we'll see it later in the comments, but let us know what your thoughts are on this too. Did you guys think that Taylor knew that Taylor was being watched by the camera that Hall had set up outside, or do you think Taylor allowed their dad to make the mistake on the board just because they wanted him to feel as if he was important in some sense?
At first I thought that maybe she didn't know that it was a mistake, but now I think, she knew, because I'm saying it because of her security guy, Cook. And Hall seems to really know this guy very well. And so if he knows the guy that well, I think he knows that the guy is going to cover his bases.
Oh, so you think Cook knew that the device was outside?
Right.
Huh.
Maybe
That's
he knew.
yeah.
But
Yeah. What's your take on it, Kev?
I watched it the first time. I was fooled.
Yeah.
Meaning, I thought she just knew that there was a camera, and then her and the dad did it together. Then I watched it a second time, and I saw he writes one line on the board, and this is why the show's so great. Great directing. She just gives, Taylor gives one look to the camera, and it's almost like, kind of screwed that one up, Dad, and I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Okay.
And then it plays through. But hearing ReGina, I think that she Taylor let the mistake go, and then I don't put it beyond Cook to have known the camera was there, or they didn't know the camera was there, but it didn't matter. The mistake was seen, and again, because the other team is so driven for revenge, they're not thinking logically. This is a message. This is a Sicilian message.
Yeah.
No, it's a message from, whatever the math. The math fraternity, and I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go over there and make it. So I don't know, but Nadine, what did you think?
I thought from immediately watching it, I thought it was to help Taylor's dad out, because all he kept talking about was how they didn't have hedge funds when I was a kid, when I was
he
your
fell
age,
short. That's right.
When I decided to work in aerospace to build stuff that I wish I could have provided this, and we see that payoff at the end. So that's why I believe that Taylor was just like, just let it go, doesn't matter. And that's where we see that Taylor has more of a heart and a personality than maybe Taylor lets on.
And this could be Taylor's, unfortunately, her weakness.
Yeah.
And now the dad said,
I
seek perfection. We both seek perfection. Here's my question for you guys. It's early to say, but can Dad be bought? Are you afraid? Is he a liability?
I don't know. I think that's really deep.
He fell short of his own personal success. He goes, you and I are the same. We both seek perfection. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go against Taylor. I think he's actually going to be the one to help actually solve and get his redemption for the rest of his life. So maybe that's the redemption story.
Gotcha.
Because he's not going away. He's going to be, I think, in a few more episodes.
No, it's Kevin Pollak.
Yeah, I hope so.
We know.
But yeah, let's quickly talk about the Taylor and Bobby meeting so we can get on over to Chuck and what's going on. So after Bobby has been studying that beautiful mind board and realized that there was a mistake, and I believe, which I'm not sure yet, so please let me know, who set up that meeting? I think it was Bobby who set the meeting up, because he believed that Taylor was trying to...
The mistake was a message.
Joke. It was a message. But see, that's why I don't think there was a message. I think it was just like... It was just what we had just talked about. It was for her father.
And again, when you're so focused on revenge, you make these stupid mistakes.
Exactly.
Right.
And Bobby never actually brought up that he had the photo of all of the work that Taylor did, too. So that's why. So Taylor may still not even know about that camera. Anyway, so the meeting was basically a Treaty of Versailles, as they refer to it, in a sense, where they both said that they would make peace.
Which, of course, so Treaty of Versailles was the end of World War I, which really did begin World War II.
And the reason for the peace to benefit Bobby would be that it would make it look like Bobby has the of Taylor's company, but in reality he would not. She would not, or Taylor would not give that to him. But it would show that Axe Capital is in the dominant position. So that's what's on the table for Bobby. But we see in the car later that Bobby's not going for that plan.
But backing up, their exchange is what is scary to me if you are Team Axe, because Taylor provides all the logic on why this war is doing nothing but costing everybody money and time, but especially costing Axe a ton of time. You know, with Grieger and the robots, it's like look what you've done.
It's a waste.
Let's just have a truce and go make tons of money. You know, there's a great saying a CEO told me a long time ago, and I live by it: win together or part friends. But when you don't, and this is where your focus goes, it doesn't end well. And it's really going to be scary for him. It's not going to end well for him if he doesn't
go.
pull out of this at some point.
You really?
No
you
way.
think it's not going to end good for him?
No, it will end good for him, because he's going to find a way to pull out of this when he realizes at some point there's going to be an outside force that comes in. But right now, no. It's it's already and it's like, and I love when she's like, now you're going to keep your word. And he's like, you're the genius.
You figure it out.
You're the fucking genius, figure it out.
And you know what I think about that? I felt like he's jealous. And when we talked about the Math Honor Society that they were both part of.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
Kappa Mu Epsilon.
Kappa Mu Epsilon. And when, Wags says, wow, I forgot you could still do this. He's like, I can do this, and he's like, field surgery. I could do that too. Like, so I think
it's
he's
a challenge.
He's
too.
jealous. Like, so like you're the genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
the one who's so
you're not
smart.
better. Yep. And at the end, Bobby says to Wags, it's time to step up to the next part. And this is what leads us to Bobby and Chuck meeting, where they're both needing help on both sides of it.
Yes.
But let's quickly get into everything that happened with Chuck. And we're going to push through this, guys, real quick, so we don't have a lot of time left. But we get to see Lonnie. We haven't seen Lonnie for the first in a while since that blow up at the restaurant that Chuck had against him. So Lonnie comes in, surprises Chuck, and talks about sugar vape and talks about how there was an article coming out.
His company is not going to agree. Well, he's not going to agree to get his firm to give him the fundraiser.
Yeah, so he brings up sugar vape because there's an article coming out that he heard about by Lucian Porter about an old case that Chuck failed to prosecute. And because of this article, his company is not going to hold the fundraiser to help Chuck for the Attorney General race. And so sugar vape was marketed to hook and target,
name.
right? But it's basically talking
it's
about like the
addictive.
jewels that are out there now. I think there's a correlation between like the jewels.
Oh, no.
Are,
It's been targeted to teenagers.
to kids and all
There
that, and the flavor. And
last week was about men and women and their roles, and this week I felt was about parents and children, kids and adults, because unicorns, sweetheart, milkshakes, all the different like things, and now sugar vape they were mentioning.
Exactly.
Just a little symbolism.
Exactly.
But very timely, because this is what's going on right now.
Right.
Yeah. And because of this article, the issue with it, it's not just that he failed to prosecute it, but it's also that his father, his social group, all hangs out with the CEO of this company. So there's all these ties connected to Chuck, and so this is not going to look good at all, which we see once it does inevitably get published, how Chuck breaks his tablet. But what did we think about Lucian Porter himself? Do we think that he's going to be used again to get back at Chuck in a different way? Do you think he's going to continue to be this one guy until Chuck uses Bobby to help take him down?
Well, I think Kate gave him a gift. She gave him the
he's
gift
back.
of going to Ray Cruz.
Yeah, and to change his mind.
Whistleblower, changing his mind after Chuck had gone to him and got him to, stop the article in the paper. And so now Kate is like, the ball is in her court now because he's going to be the whistleblower.
Do you think Kate's argument was that compelling?
No, I don't.
Because you know what I mean? Like, government's not going to have you back. A big corporation is going to sue you no matter what. And there's nothing government can prosecute them, but I don't know. I didn't feel...
Oh, I think this guy, we just saw him. He's very easily
desperate,
swayed.
though.
He's very
He
easily
wants
swayed
money.
regardless. And so Chuck was able to hit at his heartstrings regarding his mom and saying everything's going to be taken from your mom. So there's a massive
And then
heartstring.
she said, "You're
and
gonna have
she's
money."
saying you're going to get money,
From
and money
whistleblower.
money trumps anything else in a lot of people's brains. So I think that's what happened. But do you guys think that Kate's actually going to follow through and actually prosecide? Because
Absolutely.
Definitely.
you think she's actually going to go forward with it, or do you think she was just saying that to Cruz?
No, she is on Brian's side. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
She is.
No, I think they're gonna. Yeah, they have.
She's gonna
I think
prosecute.
right now it's a threat just to get the article out.
Yeah.
But we know
You
what's
think
gonna
she's
happen
gonna
with
go
Chuck.
forward with it?
Well, because
Yeah.
Chuck is amazing. He's gonna come back 10 times as strong, and then she's gonna have to double down and go to absolutely.
And so this has definitely hurt his campaign, obviously, and this is a big reason why Chuck now needs Bobby more than ever, is that his name is being tarnished anywhere. And because this article came out, it made Chuck not want to go to the local 1199 meeting at the casino that his father really wanted him to go to because
Father
he
owns the land, by the way.
owns the land that's the
Right?
casino is on because
And
he
who's
thought.
playing there, Nadine?
I have it.
Michael
Michael
Bolton.
Bolton.
Come
And his
on.
name, Michael
Michael
Bolton.
Bolton.
Oh, yeah. So Michael Bolton's there. I wrote it down, guys. And
But it was just so, by the way,
You heard of
hilarious.
Michael Bolton.
oh yeah, I've heard of Michael
crap.
Bolton.
If you're a fan of
I don't
Office
sit and
Space,
listen to him
there's
a lot,
lot of
but-
good Michael Bolton jokes in there.
Okay.
But he never quits. He never lets you
right.
down
No,
about
he
Michael
never
Bolton.
And I
That's
think
what he
that's
said.
a symbol into Chuck saying at the end that he's never going to quit and he's
That's
never going to
right.
give
And
up.
then his dad said, and I'm never going to die. I'm like, okay.
And I'm never going to lose. You're never going to lose.
Yeah.
And if the other person loses, you win. win.
Yep, exactly.
That's the philosophy.
Yeah, and so that was a big pivotal moment there. And but just real quick, the reason why they're there is because they represent 400,000 votes, and so that's why it's so massive.
Yeah.
And Chuck needs to go put on a good face and do well. But that leads us to Chuck not being able to put on a good face. We saw this entire episode.
Gosh.
He was having massive migraines, and he was popping Excedrin
By the
like
way,
crazy.
Excedrin made some money off this
Oh, they
episode.
definitely. But I also liked it because a lot of the times when there's brand sponsorship within a show,
You can tell.
you
It's a
can
bump.
tell they're
That's right.
holding it. They're holding the can of
Yeah,
Coke.
no.
This, it was very just played through. It was just like, yeah, well, I take Excedrin also
Well,
when I
I'm
have a
telling
headache.
you, as a migraine sufferer,
Yeah.
Excedrin is migraine is
And
my
that's
go-to.
it. That's why you related to it, so you
Right.
didn't feel like it was an ad
But
push.
ReGina brought something up earlier, like before we went on. There's something, this health thing with I don't think is going to go away.
Yeah. I think
Something with
it's
Chuck?
leading to something for Chuck.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's more than just a hangover.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I believe something else is coming down the line with his health.
well,
Yeah.
is it like you mean like tumors or things like that, or
Who knows?
well, I'm wondering if it's not the revenge that's making him so sick. It's taking him off his game and not getting him away
the
from
stress
justice.
of it all. Wendy did tell him that.
Well, I think it's
That
the
was
stress
part of
and
his
then
headaches.
and then also Wendy holding back on and the type of sex that he likes, the BDSM stuff that they've been used
he
to doing.
needs.
Speaking of that,
It's therapy for him.
He needs it, and
right.
it's being taken away from him or not given to him as often,
Right.
because she doesn't want that. She wants to move on, and she wants more of a
wants
physical
make
connection,
love, yeah.
which you get. But
she wants a regular love making.
Yeah.
well, yeah, she wants
Well,
to.
she can get
wants to
something.
move on.
Have to beat my husband into.
Yeah, and so we see Chuck at the convention. He needs it so bad that he can't even be in front of these people and have conversations without using his little rubber band trick to get him stimulated and to get his mind right. So we see it in the bathroom, and then we see a
Yes.
whole montage on the floor of him doing it while he's talking to everyone.
Every snap
But
is a smile.
And we think that everything's going well until the end of that montage when him and Wendy are taking photos with the guys, and no one wants to take a photo with him. And Wendy calls it out that,
Right.
hey, did you realize
Yeah.
no one wants to have a photo with
Everybody
you?
just disappeared from out of the photo.
Exactly.
But speaking of the rubber band, that was my news last week, everyone. So we did get a scoop on the rubber band.
There you go. You got a scoop on the rubber band.
The
Yeah.
thing about that rubber band, though, that really got me was when they were in their bedroom, he wanted to have sex, but he wanted it his way. And she was
Right.
pretty much
Yeah.
saying, now, if you want a mutual thing, I'm all for that. You know, and then all of a sudden, when she pulls out this rubber band,
It was the
breaks
trigger.
it.
And
Yeah.
even the zipper, do you notice it got him excited and aroused him?
Yeah.
It was a arousal template. Like,
And it's so I think it's just something to remind him of those moments with her, because now that he saw just the rubber band and the zipper, now that's why he grabbed a rubber band, because it's reminding him of her when he wants to get aroused in that way.
I don't like
so
where
I
it's
think it's a
going.
trigger. So and I think all of that is going to lead towards. Yeah, there is going to be something that's going to come of it, and Wendy's not going to take it, as we've seen. She's not going to give in anymore.
we really-
And
Go ahead, honey.
no, yeah, and this leads to the meeting at the end with Chuck and Bobby, which is going to shape the entire season and next season to come, honestly. Because as we spoke about in the beginning, we see a new version of Chuck. We see Chuck now become the opposite of everything he ever fought against. He's the guy who's now going to take a bribe in order to get himself in office. He's the guy who's going to have help from who once used to be his mortal enemy in order to get elected. And when he said that he'll never quit, he's never going to die, that's what it means, is that he's doing everything
willingness to
in his
fraternize
power.
with the depraved is your
Yep.
best weapon, and that's
Yeah.
what he's going to do now.
And Bobby's whole thought was, are you sure that, hey, hang on a second. He was a little like standoffish. You sure once you get elected, you're not going to come and like basically put me in jail?
Like an old
and
Western, yeah.
do all this again?
Turn on me.
And I really firmly believe that Chuck
You know
won't.
what?
I think it'll.
don't. I believe he will.
I think that he's going to come to a
If the right
crosshair.
opportunity comes.
There's going to come a crosshair where he's going to have to choose, does he go with Bobby or is it the law? And that's going to be the ultimate personality test for Chuck of where he now currently is what I think. But I think the most, but at the end when he throws the last shot is him throwing the Excedrin away in the trash can.
Yeah, it was
like,
empty.
you know what? Like basically,
He took everything.
He bought his troubles away in a sense. Like
My headaches are gone.
my headaches are now gone because I was able to buy
Good
it off
catch.
with Bobby's meeting, and then also now I have this rubber band that I can do if Wendy won't give it to me. Now, in his mind, he's made the perfect world when we are all seeing it from the outside view that no, this isn't going to end well. That was the episode, guys. Wow. What a lot of stuff in there.
News, translations, and predictions,
Yeah,
right?
let's get into some news real quick, guys.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Miss ReGina, would you like to lead us off on some news?
Well, I'm telling you, it's getting juicier and juicier every week.
Yeah.
So this week I found out that Damian Lewis was asked on a talk show how he prepares for a scene with, Chuck, Paul Giamatti.
With Paul Giamatti, okay.
And he says that we get into scene by starting with a gassy exchange. And of course,
Wait, you mean
we're
like a fart?
Oh my
Are you serious? Like
Such
farting?
a
I'm
dude show.
serious.
God.
He's on the show going,
Oh my
and
god.
they're answering each other back,
Oh my
seeing who
gosh.
could get the loudest farts. I'm
Oh,
like,
gosh.
give me a break, guys. That's kind of funny. But
Yeah.
he said it works every time.
Hey,
They
you know what?
go
Whatever
right
it is,
into
because they're giving us some good stuff on TV. So keep farting away, boys.
Yeah, so hey.
Can't believe I just said that.
Whatever floats your boat.
If you
right?
listen to Koppelman's podcast, he's a fun guy. I bet you it's a super fun set to work
Oh
on.
yeah.
I bet you it
I'm
is.
sure they're all close and stuff. Well, that's great. Awesome. Good farting news there. Anything else?
Well, the beautiful Malin
Ackerman.
Malin, I gotta get
Yeah,
her.
look at
Malin
her. We miss
Ackerman.
her.
Yeah.
Where is she, ReGina?
Sexy. Lara. Bobby's estranged wife. Well, she asked the producers to kind of give her some wiggle room and let her out of her contract for this season so she could pursue pilot season.
Oh, wow.
So she could be a star,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so
Well, she should.
she, right now, as it stands, is only going to come back if there is a season 5 of Billions. So, guys, we got to keep watching.
There'll be a season 5.
For sure.
But
I
you know
know.
what happens with these shows is these multi-character shows and cable shows, they have you locked up. You don't do as many episodes as you would for a network show, and certainly if it's all spread out, you may not have much camera time.
Yeah.
And then you don't really get paid a lot of money. Not that it's about the money, but these are her prime years. And she could be on a network show right now, or maybe her version of Homeland is out there that
Yeah.
she stars in.
Yeah.
And I understand.
She's
Yeah.
super talented.
For her.
So yeah, well, we
Yeah.
wish her the best. That's some
We
good.
do.
Well, we've missed her, so hopefully she comes back. Thank you for the news, ReGina.
Well, thank
now
you.
let's get on to our special segment, the Billenial Translator.
Okay, really quick. So they mentioned George Smiley at the beginning.
Yes, who's that?
English version of James Bond. 55,
Oh.
balding, glasses, wife cheats on him, self-effacing but brilliant. And to me, that's Hall. By the way, and just a little, we didn't even say how Hall keeps one personal camera for himself.
Yeah,
as
wait, we
personal
did forget
uses.
to bring that up.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, that was
Hall's a
Hilarious.
creepy dude to
Pretty
me.
It's awesome. I mean,
interesting.
but the comedy on the show, you guys, like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Hippolytus Marcellus from Italy was mentioned. He did invent He invented the water torture in the 15th to 16th century. He was actually a lawyer who documented sleep deprivation for torture as well.
Wow.
Okay, so way back in the day. Michel Foucault was a French philosopher on the relationship between power and knowledge and how the former controls and defines the latter. Scientific knowledge is just a means of social control. I remember Chuck Sr., when he was talking to Chuck Jr. Was like, don't do the Michel Foucault stuff
Yeah,
with me.
right.
Pericles and Parthenon, if you know anything about history, Pericles built Parthenon, the Parthenon as a symbol to show that
Athena, right?
Greece was the dominant, Athens was the dominant city, and they were the dominant part of civilization. That's how.
Gotcha.
That's Chuck Sr. with his land and his casino.
That's a good catch.
Cassandra always seeing.
Yes, what
Okay.
is that one?
So back in Greek mythology, Cassandra could see the future, and Apollo was in love with her, but she would not take his advances. So he cursed her so that no one would believe her when she predicted the future.
Oh, no.
So therefore, today it's used in many situations, including in the corporate world, where you have a Cassandra complex. You can see something and no one's listening to you. So things that could have been seen in the market or whatever, but were not, it
Ignored.
falls into the Cassandra complex.
Okay.
And he was trying to say, I'm Cassandra. the newbie they brought in with Maffei, and they're like, no, because I was gonna send an email, typical millennial,
but you didn't send
but
it.
he didn't.
And they said you
So,
were owned.
Wow.
Yeah, so you're not Cafferty. I mean, you're not Cassandra. Okay, George Rafferty wrote Baker Street. Chuck thought it was the Doobie Brothers. It was actually George Rafferty, and when he was snapping himself, Jerry Rafferty,
yeah.
and when he was snapping himself with a rubber band, he's humming that song to himself.
Baker Street.
And about that song, Baker Street, it's about how bleak the world can be, but how the main character must keep on going.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's really, that's what Chuck Sr.'s saying,
Yeah.
how Michael Bolton keeps on going no matter what. We keep on going no matter what. That's kind of the symbolism behind that
And
song.
the journalist brought that up too, saying that, hey, you never took me to Baker Street.
Baker
Street.
Sorry, you never took
Right.
me to Baker
Right.
Street,
So-
and that's why I want revenge against you.
So again,
basically.
with good writing, it all ties together.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Vadim Linetsky, this is actually a modern day author and financial expert. He wrote a book on financial engineering and how he applies math equations to make money. So that's what they were talking about. The Reggie bar
deep.
was Reggie Jackson. Had a
Yes.
candy bar named after him
When
in the
he was
70s.
with the Yankees.
He was with and when he was with the Yankees, he said, if I go to New York, I want a candy bar just like Babe Ruth got. But the truth of the matter is, Babe Ruth never got a candy bar. Baby Ruth was named after a president's daughter.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't named after. So you knew that.
I did know that one little
So
fact.
anyway, and then just kind of funny, it's got nougat. No, it's peanuts and chocolate. So whatever. Otto Rothstein is famous for back in the 20s, the big scandal. He basically paid everyone off for the World Series and fixed the
man.
World Series. That was the beginning of organized crime. Triple G. Is a famous boxer. He's only got one loss, and I'm a boxing fan, so I know, but he's very calculating and he's methodical, but with power. So to me, very symbolic of I think Kate. That's why Kate used
where
him.
Kate is,
You know,
yeah.
and I mentioned the Chinatown reference, and then when it said this is a Sicilian message for revenge at the end, which I thought was a tie back to the Italian who created water torture.
Oh, there it is.
But I liked how no, it's Kappa Mu Epsilon. That's the honor society that they're both part of, and that's a language of math that only those
That
two
they know.
understand.
Right.
That's it.
Wow.
That was my translation.
That was a lot in there. See,
Yes.
you catch all that stuff, and it goes over my head. So I'm very happy we have this segment.
You're
So thank
kind
you.
of carrying us all through the
Thank
rest
you.
of it, so it's the least
Well,
I
let's
can
do
do.
very quick
was a
predictions. I know we
lot.
had a lot of predictions throughout the episode. We'll do really quick
Your
predictions.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
In one sentence, Regina, what do you think is going to be happening?
I think that her father is going to not be as good for her as we think.
Ooh.
She's going to be vulnerable with her dad around. He's going to make her get weaker.
Uh-oh. Kev?
Well, just looking at the preview, Blackjack Foley gets together with Jock and says, if Chuck wins, we're in trouble. Billionaire who's smarter than Jock knows if Chuck wins, we're in trouble. We have to stop him from winning. We see that there's a natural gas crisis, and then Grieger and Axe are going to go face to face over something. So anyway, and I think there's a Taylor hack too.
Yeah, I think we have not seen a lot of Jock this season, and I think Jock's going to
He's
come back
coming.
now that Bobby and him, or Bobby and Chuck, have this partnership. I think we're going to see more of Jock.
Compliment said this is the episode to watch.
Yeah.
Episode number 4.
Wow,
So-
guys, that was a lot. Thank
Yes.
you so much for watching with us. Please respond in the comments throughout the week. Keep the conversation going. Please remember to rate us on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Throw us that like button if you liked watching tonight. Thank you so much. You guys can find me everywhere throughout the week at Nadine, Della, Pelle.
ReGina Cole's Instagram.
At Undergaro, check us out on the Tomorrow Show and at the Bar Rescue After Show here at AfterBuzz TV.
Yes, that's where you can find us everywhere. All right, guys, have a great week, and we'll see you next week for more Billions.
Bye-bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.